Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today I'm going to be reviewing my eyeshadow palettes that I tested out for you in August. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. I really hoped you had fun doing eyeshadow palette month along with me. I definitely had a lot of fun doing it together with you. And today I wanted to come on here and review the eyeshadow palettes that I tested out for you in August. I had a very ambitious plan in August because I was traveling in most of July and then going into August for a little bit, and I had put like these massive eyeshadow palettes on the to try pile, and halfway through August I was like, I'm never going to make it. So there is a little less in this video than I had anticipated at the start of my Shop My Stash that I did in July. But I'm just rolling those palettes into my September review, so those reviews are still coming. I did an entire video in August about how I go about reviewing, like what's going on behind the scenes for me creating these videos for you. So if you want to know about my review process, I can link that down below because there is a little bit more that goes into this video than just the filming of this video. And I'm a bit of a nerd. I do want to make sure I give every single eyeshadow palette a good enough try and really put it through its paces. So for instance, one of these palettes has 25 pans, and that easily makes it like 5 different looks I then want to do, because it is always my aim to try out every single pan of eyeshadow in every single palette I have. So that's why it always takes me a little bit more time. So that's why I've only tested out these things for you, but I will be inserting swatches in this video, looks that I've done with all of these palettes, as well as close-ups of some of these palettes as well, so that hopefully you can have all the information in one place, and that it goes for any eyeshadow palette that you see here on the channel. If there's a video where I don't happen to put in swatches, if you look up the review for that palette, it will always have that information in. So what was in this to try pile? The Glaminatrix Nearly Natural, the Flower Nose Strawberry Cupid that was sent to me by YESSTYLE, and Viseart, because over Memorial Day weekend last May, Viseart actually had a sale on and there were some discounts, and I was like, right, I still wanted to try the Lilas Lumière, and they had that one in stock at the time, and then the other palettes I got a bit of a discount on, so that was great. Let me start with what's on my eyes today, which is actually the Glaminatrix Nearly Natural. So I don't know, can someone help me out? It has this plastic cover that feels like you can rip it off, but when I touch the material underneath it, it feels very rubbery, and I hate that feeling. So do I need to take this off, or is it supposed to stay on to protect the palette? Someone let me know, because I don't know. But this is the revamped version of the Nearly Natural. The Glaminatrix Nearly Natural existed about, I think, 2, maybe 3 years ago already. I tried it at the time. I've tried the original palette, but I don't have the palette anymore because I decluttered it. I did take out a couple of the shades that were my favorite, but they have like gone somewhere in my singles collection, and I can no longer find out exactly which ones they were. I would have to rewatch that video and then like go through the palettes. But they have actually changed the layout of this palette quite a bit. I think before it was 15 pans and now it's 25. So you are getting quite a few additional shades. I feel we're getting more of the greens, and we're also getting lighter things, which I enjoy. One of the reasons why I didn't fall in love with the original palette the way a lot of people did was because it was pretty deep and it was pretty warm toned, which I didn't expect. If something is called nearly natural, I wanted to be nearly natural on my fair skin, and it just wasn't. It was always a bit too much of a clash, and I felt that really the only thing that turned pretty smoky on me was the look I did with this row here. So what did I do with this palette? I ended up doing a look with each of the rows, and it worked out really beautifully. You get an entire row of like lighter shimmers here, an entire row of like mid-tone mattes here, an entire row of deeper shimmers here, and an entire row of deeper mattes towards the bottom. What I like about it, and if you have deep or medium to deep skin, you may not like it, but I like how these shades aren't super dark, right? They're not super dark. This look is what is actually on my lids today. So if you see that shine, that's that shade right there. This is in the inner corner. I use this as a blend shade, and this is on the lower lash line and in the crease. I am filming this at the end of the day. It's already past 5 o'clock. I had some issue with my memory card because it broke. It like snapped in two. So I'm filming this with my other memory card, but yeah, that took a little bit of time out, and we're getting a lot of rain the next couple of days. And if I feel like the clouds are like moving in, so if the lighting isn't the best in this video, I do apologize. I had wanted to film this about like 30 minutes to an hour before I sat down to film this. Oh well. But yeah, this is beautiful. It is the Glaminatrix formula that I really enjoy. They are one of my favorite indie brands currently, and this is no different. And I can say that I like this a lot better than I did the original palette. Mainly because I feel the crease shades and also these lighter shimmers is what really brings the palette together for me. Is this still very warm tone though? I feel it is. So if you love warm tones, you're gonna love this. There are some cool toned options in here, so I think you can do some really good cool toned looks, but it's a nearly natural palette, and I feel that this now very much more so fits the bill than it used to. It looked a lot more natural on me. It looked a lot more sophisticated on me than the previous palette did. So I can link you to the video where I reviewed the original video as well, but I just feel differently about it now. Also because I feel ever since they started doing these smaller pans, they seem to have updated their formula, and I like this formula better than the old one that they used to do. I tried 2 of the older style palettes, the Nocturnal, that's what it was called, right? Nocturnal, and then this one, and both of those I ended up decluttering because I felt nothing really went together really well, and with this I've had no issues. So they made a change for the better with this one for sure. And what I'm forgetting to tell you is that this palette was sent to me in PR, but not by the brand itself, but by MONOLITH. I am affiliated with them. I have a code in my description box, so if you want to get 5% off of your order, then you can. The only other non-Viseart thing that I did end up testing out is the Strawberry Cupid palette. This is from Flower Nose. I got this through YESSTYLE. They sent me a PR box in June, so this was again not something I paid for with my own money. And this is a beautiful warmish pink sort of color story. If you love warm pinks, you're gonna love this. Flower Nose just kills it with the packaging. Like, I'm gonna hold this up close as well. Look at that, with the little cupids and then the strawberries. It's very ornate, really pretty. What I feel with Flower Nose is sometimes some of their products that I've tried is all looks and no, like, it just doesn't hit the mark for me. This one did. I already used the palette in a video that I did in June, so if you want to see this going onto my face, then you can. But I ended up doing an extra look for you guys to make sure I had used all of the shades, and I think I ended up using all of the shades that are in this palette. This is a really beautiful shimmer, but it does need layering. It doesn't go on super opaque. You definitely need to either use some of the darker mattes to layer underneath it, or you really need to go in with like 3-4 layers for it to really show up. Overall, there are 4 mattes. These are true shimmers, and this is more of a satin. Is this going to be a very versatile palette in your collection? No. Is it pretty? Absolutely yes. If these are your shades, you're really going to enjoy this eyeshadow palette for sure. It's not my kind of vibe. This is not my color story, so I'm not sure how long this is going to last. But this is the good Flower Nose formula. I tried the Weeping Angel earlier in the year and just wasn't a fan. But this one is really easy to work with shadow. The mattes blend themselves essentially. So I did really enjoy the formula. It's just not my kind of color story. I would not have picked this out for myself. And I know this collection came with a really beautiful cool tone color story, but it was Asia only. I actually saw somebody using it on TikTok. I was like, ooh, I want that. And then it never came. Like it just was being shipped to anywhere else in the world. So that was a bit of a shame. Oh well. But I did get to try it, and I'm very happy that I did. And then we get to Viseart. So one of the things that was on sale and that I was curious after is the Petite Matte Original Cool Tone palette. So I used to own the Petite Cool Mattes. That was the one they came out with later. This is the Petite version of the original Cool Tone palette that they used to do. When they only did the clear plastic packaging, they already did this. And they've just like made it smaller, which super helpful for me because I don't like big palettes. I don't need 3 grams of eyeshadow in a single pan. You saw my eyeshadow palette collection the other day. I own 300 plus eyeshadow palettes, and I did a quick count. 240 of those are in my active day-to-day use for reviews sort of section of the makeup collection, which is a lot. So I don't, give me this, I'm happy. I'm sure if you use this every single day, you may go through it really quickly. That's the only downside, but they still do the bigger version. So if you're a heavy-handed eyeshadow user, you could go for that for sure. It's just more expensive because it has more product in. And I like this so much better. The original Cool Nudes that I tried was like, it had like rows like this, and it had like neutral browns, grays, purples, and teals, I believe. Like it looked like tealy blues. And the grays, the purples, and the teals, they all looked identical on me. Everything looked like the same shade of gray, and it just wasn't my look. I did, I think 2, maybe 3 looks with this, and it's beautiful. The reason why this works better for me is because it has more taupey browns. That's really why. Like something like this together with the purple and the grays was beautiful, but then you also get these really beautiful brown shades, and I just felt that this had the right mix of colors and undertones that really nicely shows up on my complexion. It just is. I think the other one was perhaps just skewing too gray for me, and for it to work for me really, really well. So that's why this Viseart Cool Mattes, the Petite Mattes Cool Original, the name on these things, was a lot more successful for me than I had expected. I don't have a lot of all matte palettes. It's good to have a couple of things, and that's what I was telling myself when I was holding on to the other one, but I decided to declutter it the other, like I think in March. I got rid of it, and I'm so glad I did because this is so much better for me. And then next up we have some newer style palettes from Viseart. I wanted to get the Praline that they launched together with the Lilas Lumière, but that one was sold out. So if that had been available, I would have not perhaps bought this. But this ended up going a bit awry for me because this one came broken, and then they sent me a new one for free, and that's what got put in the giveaway for the summertime giveaway that I did last month. If you want to know whether you won, I will have contacted the winner by now, so check your inbox. If you've left your email address, there will be a message in your inbox with a message saying that you won, if you won this and the Asian beauty bits that I picked up for you while I was in Japan. But yeah, the Paris Réveries, that's what this is called, right? Rêverie étendue. Why do I think this thing was called the Paris? Yeah, Rêverie étendue. And this has the new style packaging, so this one, the Cool Mattes, opens like this, and then it has this whole flap thing going on. But the new style palettes, which I actually don't like as much, open like this, and then you don't have a mirror anymore, and then you just have this piece of paper. So it no longer like wraps around, it just opens like a standard palette, and then this is the thing that keeps the shadows safe. And it has like lines so you can rip it off quite easily, but because mine is a little bit fragile, even after repressing, it's still a little bit crumbly. But it is actually just fine. This is a beautiful palette. It was a little bit more warm tone than I had expected, perhaps, once it went onto my lids. It's got some really beautiful shimmers. The shade that broke on me was this one in Transit. I was able to repress it, but it's really, really soft. So I'm going to have to wrap your package really, really carefully to hopefully make sure that one comes to you in one piece. We get some purples in here. That's what drew me in, really. And then you just have these like peachy tones over here. It's really beautiful. It has some stunning shades in. And Viseart overall does a really good mix of both cool tones, warm tones, and neutrals in every single palette they do. So that's why I think they're very, very successful. And for me, I've said it many times before, I love the Viseart formula. That's why I have so many of their palettes. I think they're absolutely stunning, really easy to work with mattes, easy to work with shimmers, and their shimmers are getting a little bit more sparkly and metallic looking, but I feel you have options with these. They can look very satin and sort of very satisfying, it's very smooth looking, so especially if you have textured lids, I feel Viseart is one of the best brands to look into. But you can build it up, you can use your finger to intensify a shimmer. But I'm not gonna lie, if you see the looks I did with the next two palettes and this one, you're gonna say it's all the same palette, because you don't need this many Viseart palettes to create a look. Pick the color story that appeals to you most and just use it till the end of days. You don't need that many Viseart palettes, because I feel, especially because they are so mid-tone heavy and because they do so many things that have warm, neutrals, and cool tones in, I feel that the overall vibe of the palette can be a little bit differently, but it's a nuance. It's not gonna give you world-class different looks every single time. I just love the formula and I stan this brand, which is why I think this is now, including these four, and then I have 4 of these bigger ones already, and then I have 4 of the Petit four. And I have one of the smaller, like, Paris, like, city palettes that they're actually re-releasing. So that's 4 and 5, that's 9 plus 4. I have 13 of them. I know, I'm a little bit crazy. Surprisingly, something I liked a lot better is the Sireneuse. So the Reverie one was pretty. I felt great in it, but it's very sort of soft and ethereal. Reverie is the best name for it, because Reverie is like dreams in French, if I'm not mistaken. French has been a long time ago, so French people, please correct me if I'm wrong. But it does have that sort of vibe. I like a little bit more from eyeshadow, and that's what happened to me with this one, the Sireneuse. The lighting is absolutely atrocious. I do apologize. But the Sireneuse, I saw this when it launched and I was like, nah, I don't need that in my life. If it hadn't been part of the sale, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. But then I used it and I was like, that's really good. This may actually be beating the Charmeuse and the, what's the other one? Why am I blanking? The fall one, the Charmeuse also has it in the name, the Cashmere. So the Charmeuse and the Cashmere I love, and they're really, really good, really great neutral palettes. But this one is giving them a run for its money, the Sireneuse. Again, really beautiful, whimsical shades, but it has this duochrome here. It's like blue, purple, and then it has some really stunning, like more cooler tone shades over here. It has a touch of warmth, but this I feel looked a lot more warm toned in a lot of the images I saw online than what it ended up doing on my lids. And this is one of those palettes where I'm like, you're interesting. It's sort of giving me ABH vibes, but like, you know, when ABH was like on top of the world, that sort of color story, but really, really beautiful and sophisticated. And I just felt that these shades really came to life on my complexion. So actually, surprisingly, out of the 4 that I've tried, the Sireneuse actually ended up being my favorite one, and not the one for which I actually placed the order. We're getting rain. Yeah, it's about to rain. Let me see if I can brighten it up just a little bit. There we go. Is this better? I hope it does. There's a lot of, like, this is the funny thing about my house. I have north-facing windows and south-facing windows, and in the Netherlands, a lot of rain always comes in from the southwest. So what happens is that my south-facing windows, when there's rain coming, it comes in from this side, and then this side is still bright, and then that side starts to darken. So I can always see what the weather is going to do if I'm pretty high up as well, so that's always a fun thing to see. But yeah, that's why this side is so much brighter than that side is. But yeah, the entire reason why I placed this order was the Lilas Lumière. I thought it was the Lilas Étendu, but it's the Lilas Lumière Étendu. And this is beautiful. It has a couple of shades in that are similar to the Leela Petit Four palettes they did in the past. So I already have those. So how much am I going to actually be using this? I don't know. But here she is. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful palette still. But can you see why I like the Sireneuse just a touch better? The Sireneuse was more neutral on me for some reason. It does have like the sort of mauvey things in that are in the Petit for Leela 2, and some of like the taupey gray things that are in the original Lilas Petit 4 as well. So you're getting similar shades to that. But I don't know. These are beautiful as well. Like, these make me feel like $1,000,000 going onto my lids as well. Don't get me wrong. I still really, really like them. But I perhaps like the Sireneuse just a little bit better. The way it went on, the way the shades played together once on my lids. It has that duochrome in. So I think I like that one a little bit better than I do this one. But this is still really beautiful. I'm happy to have it. But I think if you already own the Petit 4 like I did, you can perhaps skip this because those shades are also in here. So if you already have those palettes, you don't necessarily need these in your life. So yeah, these were the palettes that I used in August, and I'm going to be testing out some more eyeshadow for you in September, of course. I tried to stick to around 5 palettes or so every single month, and I did actually 4, 5, 6. So I did a little bit more. There are many more pans in the eyeshadows that I will be testing out for you because I have some more Glaminatrix and also Bella Beauté Bar, and those are all like 20 or 25 pan eyeshadows. So that's a lot. So I've got my work cut out for me as well in September, but I'm going to soldier on. I'm back at work as well, so that makes it a little easier because usually when I have like a day off, I kind of like go like, I don't really want to do my makeup today, and then, unless I'm filming, I don't really do my makeup. I always want to give my skin like a break once or twice a week and not wear anything. But yeah, that's just what goes into it. So I hope to manage to review those 5 eyeshadow palettes that I showed you in my Shop My Stash on Tuesday. And then I really hope you like to stay tuned for more. I will be talking about a lot of eyeshadow palettes again, but sadly, eyeshadow palette month is over. So I'm going to tone it down a notch, but just know I always do some eyeshadow palette content every single month anyway. So if you love palettes as much as I do, then I hope you like to stay tuned for more and check back the channel because I have lots of other fun things in store for you this month as well. One of which is of course going to be a Q&A because a lot of you were sending me questions. I got quite a lot of entries on the giveaway. I was really pleased to see, and I'm going to be answering those questions in a video soon as well. So if you want to get to know me a little bit better, want to know more about whatever, like there were loads of really fun questions. I already had a look, so I'm going to be doing that really, really soon. And of course, I still need to review the new Essence bits as well. So stay tuned for all of that goodness, and I hope to see you again really, really soon. Bye-bye.